Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you this morning is something that's so powerful, coming from an anti-gun, progressive, gun control, abolish the Second Amendment person, around the fact that they now have a gun and why, because this speaks to what's happening in our nation across the board. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and please spread this one out. If you want to read the entire article, it's linked in the description box as well. And if you are new or you're a returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn that notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get into the fold with us so we can pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. And thank you so much in advance for your consideration. And the content that we're about to go through is brought to you by SDI, a returning sponsor to the channel. Now, I know a lot of you out there like to upgrade and modify your own guns. And if you're looking for a hobby into a career, SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute, can help. Their online courses cover everything from gunsmithing to ballistics to woodworking and finishes to shooting, sports management, and more. Plus, all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to jump into something that you can actually get a career out of. So what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below. And thank you so much to SDI for making this content possible. But my brothers and sisters, this is one of those things that we have been talking about on this channel for 2 years. There is an undercurrent that is changing the demographics of every single gun owner in the United States. It's all shifting. This is really important, and the anti-gunners, the gun controllers, are the ones to blame. Check this out and send this one out, because this is stuff that needs to be out, because this is coming from their bastions. That's the best way I can say it. Progressives convinced us to get a gun. It's hypocritical to urge Americans to disarm while also failing to protect them from surging crime rates. This came out April 23rd, 11:32 a.m. This came out yesterday. This person I'm about to show you, and you can read the article I mentioned, it's linked down there. This is a far left, abolish the Second Amendment, gun control progressive writing this. What could make them buy a gun? Here we go. This is the important piece, because the policies from the left, from the progressives, from the gun controllers are driving more purchasing of their core constituencies. Check this out. Though as a child I sometimes resented not fitting in with my friends, I grew to accept that firearms were terrible devices that didn't belong in our lives. As an adult, for many years, I supported banning guns among civilians, even contemplating the merits of repealing the Second Amendment. Well, first of all, good luck. Second of all, this is to set the standard. This is who we're talking about. But they own a gun now. This is important, because as we push this fight forward, this is how you argue these points. But some months ago, my thinking changed again. Today, my wife has a gun that she keeps in our home. She has the necessary permits from the authorities and has trained extensively in using the gun safely. Growing up, I never imagined I would have a firearm in the home, but I am reassured to have one, even if I've never held it myself. Well, let's just take the obvious jokes there out of the equation. But if we're going to talk about someone who is going to abolish the Second Amendment, who is willing to abolish private ownership of guns in the United States, and now his wife has one. She's been trained. She has the permits. Now, he's not going to touch it. But the whole point here is, why? It's because of progressive policies. They're eating their own. Their pillars cannot stand together. They can only stand by themselves. Now, check this out, because this is important, and please watch this whole video. But our decision also is due to society's current dysfunction. Crime is surging in our city, Washington, and around the country. Vagrants wander the streets, police are reluctant to tackle crimes, and courts seem unwilling to impose serious sentences on those who would break the law. Given these circumstances, owning a gun seems to be one of the few ways to feel even a semblance of personal safety. There is an irony that policies progressives espouse, such as gun control, have prompted us to have a gun in our home. If you hear nothing else from this video, that right there is the key. The very people, the very irony that are pushing the progressive gun control agenda are the same people who are pushing policies which lead people to buy guns. Because the innate Second Amendment feeling, the innate self-reliance in this country is what they're struggling against. I know a lot of people will say our country is doomed. A lot of people will say we are dead in the water. But that core underpinning of self-reliance and taking care of yourself does still exist, even on the progressive far left. It only takes a threatening of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, shelter, safety. If that safety goes away, all of a sudden your priorities change because the bubble is shattering from their own policies. But let's continue because this is why we fight. Progressives nationwide have attacked police and law enforcement, alleging that our legal system is systematically racist and oppressive. They have caused recidivist criminals to haunt our streets and cause more crimes, and have refused to deal with homelessness in spite of the mental illness and drug addictions that so often afflict our city's most vulnerable. Numerous efforts to reduce the use of drugs have been rebuffed in the name, of course, of racism. Does this sound like this person is dead on? Spot on? The very policies that are supposed to be used against the conservative way of life are being used to reinforce the conservative way of life. We are not dead in the water. But I got one more thing for you because I thought this was so powerful. That is what's happening to our family, and listen to this. Once vigorously anti-firearm and now reluctantly in possession of one. The ultimate concern is that a steadily arming population will someday use those weapons in a civil conflict. It would be wise to stop undermining our citizens' security and thereby avoiding such a dire fate. You understand what they're saying right there? I'm adding the Second Amendment, but now I reluctantly have one. If we continue going down the roads of progressive policies, they're saying, more guns will be purchased, so you cannot stop this cycle. And if you want to stop the cycle, stop the progressive approach of justice. This article is one of those that is so powerful that will sneak under the radar, and this is not coming from a crazy source. It's linked down there. This is what's happening underneath the surface. This is not what the media is going to tell you. That's why we cover these things, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.